This month's Go Imagine Makers Challenge is themed sunset hues, and I'm very excited. I've never participated in any of the makers challenges before, and I thought it would be really fun. I've already got a design in mind, and I thought it would be fun to film a video of my creation process. I found out that you can have up to 2 submissions, so I thought I'll submit the one that I've got basically ready, and then there's another design that I would like to do. I'll just do the testing for it and get it all prepped and ready, and it'll be great. It wasn't the most fun. Filming it just adds a layer of difficulty to everything. Like, it's a skill in its own, and I really need more practice. A lot of my files got corrupted, so this is what I have. Some parts are missing, but we'll do it. I honestly think that even with how difficult this was, it was worth it. So I am making an ombre soap. What I've done is I use angles and the clarity of the soap in order to get a gradient between the two colors. So the very vibrant red and the yellow, and I think it looks great. And when I was working with this soap this time, I was just making sure that the colors were exactly how I wanted them, that the angle was how I wanted it to be, because sometimes when you're making the soaps, what I'll do is I'll write down the recipe of what I've done, but what can happen is if I'm making a lot of them and I'm making these tiny tweaks, sometimes I forget and it just gets jumbled up. And so I always make it one last time from the recipe that I've written down, just to make sure that it's actually how I want it and I haven't missed anything or added something on accident. So I'm just remaking it. I did do some tests. I tested around the color. I made the red a little lighter or a little darker, and ultimately I liked how I'd done it the first time. So it's still good to know, like, what if it was going to be better one of those other ways. So the second design that I am working on is another ombre, but instead of going all the way through the soap, it's halfway through the soap, and then the top half of the soap is clear with clouds in it. I really wanted clouds. The picture that Go Imagine has for the prompt is this beautiful sunset. There's lots of clouds, so the colors and the light are all reflecting off the clouds, and it's beautiful. Along with the oranges, there's pinks and purples. So I thought at first that I would like to try purple and pink, and I didn't actually end up liking it. And I also didn't like the technique that I used. I had used this technique in the past and it had worked for me, but for whatever reason, doing it now, it just wasn't working. I wasn't able to get a consistent. Melt and pour soap is pretty finicky. And I know that cold process soap makers, like people who are making soap from scratch, there are a lot of variables, you know, the temperature, how much water you use, what, just all of these, like when you pour it, there's all of these factors that can go into the design, and if you tweak one of them, it will look different. But I honestly, having made both, think that melt and pour soap is trickier if you are trying to recreate a very complicated design, and I would say that this is a complicated design. So I am using glycerin, which is a component of the melt and pour soap already. It's really nice. It's a humectant. What it does in the soap is it sinks. So I mixed mica colorant with it, hoping that it would kind of fan out in a nice cloud-like way, which is what it had done for me in the past, but it didn't this time. I'm not sure what variable, had changed since last time. I hadn't completely figured it out last time, so I'm thinking that this is probably what was wrong, is I just didn't get it locked down. I was just like, oh, it worked one time, it's great. Anyways, so I didn't like anything about this try. The colors, I'm using Mad Mica colorants. They are so pretty. I love micas. I love how glittery they are, but I just didn't like them together. It wasn't what I thought a sunset cloud color palette would actually be. So I moved on. I tried a different color pink and I tried yellow, and Keenan and I agreed we both really liked the yellow for clouds. I also did a lot of testing with the glycerin to try and see if I could get it to act the way I wanted. So I was playing around with, you know, what temperature should I add the glycerin, maybe at a different level in the soap, and I just wasn't digging it. So I took some time, I sat back. I actually filmed all of this over about 3 days. It took me, the testing process was about 11 hours, which is more than I was expecting. But I think it was worth it. So I tried mixing the glycerin with some of the soap just so it wouldn't sink as quickly, and that didn't help. It just wasn't what I was envisioning. So what I ended up doing was I used cool soap. Now what you can do to get swirls in melt and pour soap is to cool it down. You basically pour it as low of a temperature as you can, and it will not move so much. So that can be tricky though, because it can introduce bubbles, and it's just tough if you're doing different soaps to have them be the temperatures that you need at the same time, especially if you're working with small amounts of soap where, you know, you stick it in the microwave for 5 seconds and it's too hot. So it's pretty tricky, but I think it worked really well. You get those kind of semi lumps that you have in clouds. It's not just one big lump. You get these little swirls. I think it turned out beautifully. I think it looks like a cloud. I love the yellow. I did change the colors of the ombre in this one. It's instead a pink to an orange, and I tried it out and I just liked it a lot. You know, I like the red to yellow, but this one just makes it a little more different. It still looks like a sunset to me. So here's Keenan double checking that they actually do, these two actually do look similar enough. I did go ahead and make a second one just to make sure that I could recreate it. I did end up using about 2 pounds of soap in all of the experiments. It was a lot. But here is me triumphantly clearing up, so relieved that it's over and I have something that I'm proud of. Here's the final product. You have the ombre, the red to yellow, and then I decided to unmold these two on camera, and I think that the video footage really shows how three-dimensional the soap is. I was really struggling with the product photography, just actually showing the depth of it. I think the video turned out way better than the pictures. I'd like to read the prompt for for the Makers Challenge. It says, eye-catching, bright, colorful, and happy, sunset hues are hot, literally. Warm tones are brighter than the sun and are inspiring artists and designers around the world. For this challenge, use a sunset color to create a bold piece. How do you guys think I did? Am I just delusional? I will put a link down below to the challenge so you can go and see what other people have created and you can actually vote on it. I'm really excited to see what everyone else has created. and I hope you have fun going and voting. Thank you for watching. Bye!